Today we're in between Sorrento and Sanford. There's a neighborhood lakes trailhead, a walking trail we've never been on before. I don't think there's gonna be a whole lot to show, but this is more of just a walk and talk. I know someone asked us to talk about the pros and cons of living in Florida. So I thought that'd be a good topic today as we get some exercise in this beautiful 82-degree day. Also, these are not my glasses. I just found them in the car and it's bright and I wanted to wear them. Let's go check it out. Here is the scenic trail and trailhead. Where are we? Does this say you are here?
I'm assuming that's T for trailhead.
Oh yeah. Yeah, okay. I don't know how far we will walk on it, but it is also a total of 375 acres. So here's some rules, I guess some permitted activities and prohibited activities. Now as we walk, I will periodically show some things, but here is trail to the left, the
Trail.
trailhead west to the right.
We'll do that one.
Shows the mileage.
If you want to walk to the Lake and Orange County line, you can go to
2 miles this way.
2.1 miles.
Looks like a pretty nice trail though. Which way are we going?
Right.
Right. It's actually a paved path
So far.
so far. For those of you that don't know, we moved from Missouri in 2020 to Florida. That was a dream of mine. When we got together, I kind of mentioned to you that I'd like to live in Florida sometime. Then we vacationed pretty much every year to Disney World after that, which came to Florida, and got married in Florida. So now
I knew I did not want to stay in Missouri, so I was fine going anywhere.
And you've been a lot of
For the most
places.
part. Yeah.
I've only been in Missouri.
Yeah.
But after living here for now 5 years, there are a lot of pros, a few cons of living here in Florida. And I want to start off with a pro and a con, and that is the weather. Right now, perfect. Yesterday, perfect. We kept the windows open. We gradually see our utility bill go way down in the Florida fall / Florida spring months. And pretty much for like a month, we just don't even turn on the air and we keep the windows down.
Yep. Open.
Open. We have swapped glasses.
Well, I stole yours.
I
You don't want to wear mine. They won't.
don't,
They won't work.
they,
These are girly glasses, guy.
oh, look at that. They're pretty well junky if I'm being honest. There we go.
Don't tip your head anyway.
Look at that.
It'll
Look,
slide.
That works for me.
Your nose is bigger than
Yeah, I
mine,
got a bigger
guess.
nose. Weather's perfect. Today's perfect.
those off.
It's good to.
You look
Oh, I like it.
ridiculous.
I like it. Okay. Can't see anything. Also, a fun fact: Florida shirt right here. That was my shirt a
Oh.
long time ago.
Yep.
Long
I
time
didn't
ago.
plan that.
No, you didn't. But anyway, pro weather, con weather. Now I know Florida gets.
What's the con?
Well, Florida gets a
They have a bad reputation.
bad reputation for hot weather, but the thing is, in the summer it is very hot, it's very humid, but in Missouri, the temperature in Missouri is usually hotter in the summer than it is in Florida in the summer. It's just,
just as hot.
Florida lasts longer.
Yeah.
But I will say this summer was a brutal summer. It was very hot out.
Yeah.
And you kind of move to Florida knowing it's going to be hot, but I also put weather in there because of the hurricanes. We went through our very first like major hurricane last year.
Yeah.
Pretty scary stuff.
Yeah.
The good news about hurricanes, if you want to make a positive spin on it, is you know they're coming. So it's not just like in Missouri, tornadoes that just pop up out of nowhere.
Right.
Hurricanes, you know they're coming. So you do have time to prep for that.
There's also not severe winter weather down here.
Yeah.
Like ice storms that take out your power for 2+ weeks.
That's correct. Yeah. So Florida weather.
Blizzards, none of that.
Nope, just hurricanes. I mean, there are tornadoes too that
Right.
pop up, but so Florida weather's a pro and a con. Now, I guess let's do cons. I don't really have many cons, if I'm being honest. I mean, you could,
Florida?
yeah, you could break it down and get pretty specific. Like a pro, for instance, is there's no personal property tax, which is awesome in Missouri. If you own a trailer, a boat, all that stuff, you have to
Car.
pay tax on it. Whereas in Florida, if
Every
you own
year.
that stuff, you don't.
Right.
But you do have tolls here in Florida. So when you were
But they're
going,
not everywhere.
they're never everywhere, but when you're going to Orlando back and forth, we do hit quite a bit of tolls. It adds up over time. But the good news is, again, you don't have to pay the personal property tax. You also don't have to pay state income tax, which is also nice. And just so you know, we got to keep it at 15.
I'd say it's easier for me to come up with a con list than you.
Yeah.
One thing, obviously just personally speaking, is being farther away from friends and family.
Yep.
You're not centrally located like we were in Missouri, to where you can access a lot of different things if you needed to, particularly family.
Right.
I'd say that is the biggest con. But in that, it does make time spent with family more memorable. We've had family come down here, and we've got to do a lot of different experiences that we probably would not have if we didn't live down here. But the con of that situation still outweighs the pros.
Yep.
Stuff down here is more expensive.
That's for sure. Yeah, it is a pricey state.
Yeah. So not necessarily, I'm sure comparatively speaking to other states it may not be, I don't know. And the area that we live is not as expensive as maybe like Tampa or even Orlando or Miami, but Florida itself, like the house that we live in, if that were a house back in Missouri,
It'd be half the price,
Yeah.
probably. Honestly.
So-
And if the house we had in Missouri was here, it'd be double the price.
right. So that is a con.
And then you mentioned it a second ago off camera, but how crowded it is. It is
yeah.
very busy here in Florida. Now, there are certain towns you can drive into that are just small towns, but overall in the Central Florida area, very, very crowded. Traffic can be a pain.
Well, and even since we've lived here for 5 years now,
Yeah.
I mean, it has just grown exponentially.
And if you're not used to aggressive driving,
Yeah.
that can be very intimidating. I luckily got used to it, but when we came on our honeymoon, I was scared to death driving down here. I'm gonna turn the camera this way because another con I can think of is this stuff right here.
Oh gosh, yes. Yep.
Grass.
The grass and the fire ants
And look,
and
the sand. I get why it has to be sand,
right.
but we've mentioned multiple times that back in Missouri you have that just like the rich soil where you can just walk through
Nice,
the grass.
thick, cool grass. Down here it's like pokey grass, all dry, and I don't know. You can't
Yeah,
like
and dangerous.
have a picnic in it, really.
Fire
Yeah.
ants, and look, cactus right there. So this is, unless you have your yard like professionally done, this is typically kind of the grass you get. I mean, even looking over on this side, just one of those things. There are also probably other little cons here and there. I know for my hunting friends, hunting is not anything like it is in Missouri. Poor deer around here don't have anything to eat much.
They're scrawny.
Yeah, so bugs, we'll go along that. Bugs, nightlife creatures,
Yeah, there's
creatures
more
in
wildlife.
general.
Yeah.
It's pretty scary stuff out there. There's a lot of wildlife that we don't have in Missouri that we have here.
Or even, yeah, I was gonna say, like, I know there are some black bears up in Missouri, but it almost feels like, at least in our area, there's more.
Yeah,
And deer, there's still that. There's, a kid just told us, look out, there's a big snapping turtle coming up.
here.
Which, again, those are things that are back home too, but then throw in alligators.
yeah.
And
Every piece of water has an alligator in
Yeah.
it. So. This is a pretty nice walking trail. I don't know how far we're gonna go. I guess it's, lately we've been trying through the week, since we film all of our videos typically on the weekend. We try to, sometimes that doesn't happen. We try to walk during the week. So instead of going out and
Or
filming
run.
videos, walk/run, get our exercise. Weekend, we substitute that out for going and doing the videos. Now I'm sure we could sit down and think of more cons that are, I don't want to say picky cons, but I'm sure anywhere you live, there's going to
Personal
be
preference,
just
maybe.
preferences, and I mean things that are like, I don't like it because of this and that. But the generic ones, I feel like we hit personally with what we think are cons here in Florida. But pros, I can find a lot of pros here in Florida, hence that's why we're living here. One of which, there are so many things to do in Florida, way more than Missouri.
Yeah. So if you're a native Floridian and you think you've got it rough here,
Yeah,
I challenge you, go live for a year in Missouri. And
yep.
well, a year you may like it.
You might like it for a year, but try living 30.
30 years for you.
Yeah. But here in Florida, being centrally located, it's not that hard to get to Tampa, not that hard to get to Orlando, and really not that hard to get north and south. But getting coast to coast, pretty easy to do and doable in a day. Obviously, you can go on one side during the day and by evening be on the other side. So I do love the variety of activities to do here in Florida.
Yeah, which each coast is totally different, so that's kind of cool too. What was I going to say? Oh, like even just a simple thing like cruises.
Yep.
If we wanted to go on a cruise, you can just drive there. Obviously, we've done that, but if we were to have done that back home like you did growing up, you've got to make a road
New
trip.
Orleans.
Yeah, or you'd have to fly to wherever. So just more variety. We've got the Orlando International Airport, so if we ever wanted to travel internationally,
and it's close. It's not like we have to go.
Right.
We were 2 to 2.5 hours away from a big airport where we lived at Missouri. So you had to either go Kansas City or St. Louis.
Yeah.
I guess growing up I was about 2 hours away, but
Right.
when we got married, 2.5, 3 hours away. So that was a bummer. But here, I mean, there's a lot of airports, and so you're pretty much able just to, Sanford's right down the road from us. So.
Right.
And speaking of the geography, water. There's so much water here. There's something about being surrounded by water or being on the water that just makes you happy. So going to either side of the coast or even some of the lakes we have around here, it's fun to eat at the restaurants on the lakes, on the ocean, and just being near a beach.
In all seasons.
In all seasons.
I mean, obviously not when there's a hurricane, but I like it even in the fall and the winter. I like going to the beach. That's actually probably my favorite time to go.
Now, with that said, too, theme parks are fun. We can't do them every week. They get a little tiring.
It gets old.
It gets old, but it's fun to have the option of having so many theme parks here in Florida that if you're not a Disney fan, you go to Universal. If you're not a Universal fan, you go to SeaWorld. If you're not a SeaWorld fan, you go to Legoland. The list goes on and on because there's so many places and things to do. But I guess a con to that could be it gets pricey.
It gets pricey, and it just, for me, and I know you too, gets a little bit annoying sometimes, because that's not all there is to do down here. So I don't know, the theme park magic is wearing off a little bit, but we go through those phases throughout the year.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that in Florida, though, there is a lot of farmland, and so although there has not been a fall festival like there is in Omaha, Vala's Pumpkin Patch, it is fun to see all the farms. They usually have
Gretna, actually.
Gretna, Nebraska. They there are a lot of festivals that happen around here.
So to tie into that, because there are quite a few people moving down to Florida, a lot of that farmland is going away, and they're doing a lot of developments, and that stinks.
Yeah, here's some wildlife right here. Here we go. Here's our sighting of a turtle.
Gopher tortoise, yes.
Typically when you see these like this, they're gopher tortoises, and they are protected. So you're really not supposed to mess with them at all. Going back to the creatures here in Florida, I will say I'm going to also slightly put that as a pro, because you do get to see, we saw our very first black bear in Florida, wild black bear.
The restaurant game down here is much better as well. There's a lot more diversity. And
it seems like a lot more like family-owned restaurants, not like where we were at in Missouri. There was a lot of chain restaurants everywhere you turn. And although they have chain restaurants here, obviously everywhere does, you're right, they do have a lot of diversity. Like Orlando specifically has a ton
Cuban
of
restaurants, Korean restaurants, Turkish, Indian, and there was some of that. It just wasn't as abundant in the Midwest.
You got one that kind of hits home to you?
Yeah, gardening pro and con.
Yeah.
It's dang hard to figure out down here. I don't know why. You would think it would be a lot easier than it is. For some reason, and I had successful gardens up in Missouri. We had a whole pumpkin patch.
Yeah, we had a good, what were they, 10 pumpkins or something?
Yeah, and just a lot of other plants. But down here, it seems a little bit more difficult, some things.
Right.
So it's just different.
It is.
Having not grown up here.
I will say there are times where when we first moved here, it got down to like 30 degrees. And I was like, what the heck? It's supposed to be hot here. I don't want it that cold. But by 10 o'clock, it's back to the 50s. So when winter hits, you might get a few chilly, cold
Frost
days,
occasionally.
but nothing like back home. It says curve next half mile. I don't know how far we've gone. I feel like we've gone pretty far.
I don't either. I will say I do kind of miss a longer, and the problem is, I say I miss a longer fall season, but even up north, the fall season doesn't last very long before it just turns into winter.
Yeah.
So this is better than up north. You do still get kind of that fall. Like this morning when I woke up, I put on a sweater when I was doing the dogs and stuff, but I do miss some of the cold weather. But then I sit and I think about having to defrost my car.
Yeah, it's not fun.
And scrape the windshield, and no.
Going back to the nature scene, the state parks around here are awesome. If you like camping, canoeing, kayaking, other than like gators, which if you're from Florida, I feel like they don't bother you. If you're like us, you're scared of them. But there are a lot of outdoor activities. That's one reason why we like going to the state of Washington. Ton of outdoor activities.
And I will say that is my favorite scenery. Like I love Washington and how it looks, but I could not do their winters.
No.
So.
It is very flat here in Florida. Very flat.
It's funny, the signs you say as you're driving, it says, it shows like hill coming up, or what do they say? Limited vision due to hills.
Yeah, limited view or something.
And it's like the smallest little hill.
And what I do like about that is, though, when you get close to Orlando, you can see Disney, you can see Universal. If you're staying in a hotel, you can see all of it. This is 1 mile marker, so
What's a mile?
I'd say let's turn around.
Yeah.
And if you're adventurous like we are, sky's the limit on where to visit, honestly. If you go down south towards Miami, Florida Keys, go north towards Jacksonville, you can really discover a state that's got like
a lot of variety.
A lot of variety with not only weather, because North Florida is a lot colder than South Florida, but also scenery. We plan on going to more counties, areas, and filming some more videos. We thought it might be helpful, though, as many pros as we can say, as many cons. I mean, we can go all day on pros, cons, but maybe helpful tips for those who are looking at moving. I know several have commented that, oh, I can't wait to move to Florida and stuff. And our biggest thing was the research. We've mentioned this before, but doing our research, because we knew nothing about Florida other than the fun spots, going and vacationing. So as far as finding towns, houses, all that stuff, we did a lot of research, watched a lot of YouTube on it, that's for sure. And got prepared. We didn't just say, let's go move and pick a spot. We had a game plan. But overall, it was an exciting time to move to Florida. I still wake up and I'm like, man, we're in Florida. This is awesome. Especially on the weekends when we have a schedule in place to go view different things, film different things. But the good news is that everybody told us is if there's a place you don't like, you can always move.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the philosophy we have, that if there's a spot we don't like, you're free to move.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
We already have ones down here.
There are some other things that are a little complicated when you move, like getting your license plates, your license, things like that. We won't get into that for this.
It's better down here, though, than it was in Missouri.
Yeah. But those are things that no matter where you move, you're going to have to figure out. It could be another state you'd have to figure out. Overall, if you like the beach, if you like good weather, if you like doing things, like activities, Florida's the place to be, honestly. I enjoy it.
As long as it can stay this way.
As long as it can stay this way. Another turtle back there going for it.
Moving quick.
I don't know if you can see. All right, it's in the grass.
And I think no matter where you end up moving to, whether that's Florida or another state or another country, the biggest thing that has helped us is finding a good church and a good church family. That has been helpful, for sure.
I'm going to say, if you have any questions, comment on the video or send us a suggestion through our website, thealtemlife.com. But we could almost go a full session on just tips and tricks and things like that. For this purpose of this video, we just wanted to come out here, get exercise, talk about a few things. But there's a lot of things that we have learned, and part of the reason we go and film these things, they're fun, they're memories, but also to be helpful. Because I remember when we moved, it's hard to find anything helpful about anything.
Yeah. I think something worth mentioning also is no matter where you are, try and make the most of it, because I do look back on, I've lived a bunch of places, but even when we were married and living in Missouri, we could have taken advantage of a little bit more up there.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that maybe from our channel people can realize, is that no matter where you are, you just have to kind of push yourself to branch out and try new things that are around you and make the most of it.
Just thinking about food, a con is the Chinese food down here. I'm just gonna say it.
And no Mexican Villa.
And no Mexican Villa. Pro of being Missouri, their Chinese food was terrific.
Yeah.
But that's kind of minor little things.
I don't know
here.
how authentic it was.
True.
But Springfield cashew chicken was fantastic.
That's the real deal. All right, I think we're getting closer to the car. It's a nice little walk out here. Again, it's that season where we're gonna be outside every day, walking, doing outdoor activities. But thought it'd be a good idea to, while we're walking, getting some exercise, just talk about Florida. Talk about a few things, pros, cons, hopefully some helpful tips. And if you are excited to move to Florida, then you know it's probably the right spot for you, because I was very excited. It's okay to be nervous, a lot of prayer, a lot of trusting, having faith in the moving process, but excitement's what it's all about. And if you're excited, wanting to move, maybe listen to that feeling you got. But
try and find homes that are already built. Too.
yeah,
There's
that's right.
There's too many new houses everywhere.
That's right. All right, well, hopefully this was helpful, enjoyable, and I think that pretty much sums it up. So with that being said, that does it for today. Thanks for watching.